Today, we're breaking down why the Las Vegas Raiders made the bold move to select running back Ashton Jeanty in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Let's start with the biggest reason. He was the best player available. That might sound obvious, but it's worth repeating. Jeanty wasn't just a top prospect. Teams like the Bears and Broncos were reportedly trying to trade up to grab him. That tells you everything you need to know about how highly regarded he was across the league. In every draft, the term generational talent gets thrown around. But this year, only a few players truly fit that label. Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter. These are names that could shape the future of the NFL. And when you're a team like the Raiders, with multiple roster holes, you don't pass on that kind of player. You grab the one who could change your franchise. Some scouts had Jeanty ranked as the top overall prospect in the entire draft class. He's explosive, tough, and smart with the ball in his hands. He can run between the tackles with power and patience. While there are some questions about his role as a receiver, that's more about lack of opportunity than lack of ability. Just because he didn't catch a lot of passes in college doesn't mean he can't. And let's not forget, drafting the best available player worked for the Raiders last year. Sure, it's a new regime, but the philosophy still makes sense. If there's an elite football player on the board, you take him. And this year, that guy was Ashton Jeanty. Beyond talent, this pick also fills a major team need. Running back was a clear weakness last season, and it showed in the offense's inconsistency. While quarterback issues played a part, not having a reliable ground game made everything harder. The Raiders needed someone to carry the load, and now they've got that guy. The Raiders didn't just draft the top running back in this year's class. They might have landed one of the top 5 running backs in the entire NFL, right out of the gate. That might sound bold, maybe even crazy, but think about how people reacted to the hype around Brock Bowers last year. Some were already calling him the best tight end in football before he even played a snap. And you know what? They weren't far off. The same kind of conversation could be starting soon around Ashton Jeanty. Let's look at the numbers. Last season, the Raiders averaged just 79.8 rushing yards per game, dead last in the league. They also ranked last in yards per carry at just 3.6. That simply wasn't good enough. But with Jeanty in the backfield, that's about to change. This offseason, the Raiders staff, from head coach Chip Kelly to offensive coordinator Brennan Carroll, has worked hard to build a more explosive offense. And Ashton Jeanty is a big part of that vision. Carroll, the son of Pete Carroll and the team's run game coordinator, knows how to design schemes that bring out the best in a dynamic running back. Jeanty fits that system perfectly. So, how much work is Jeanty going to get in his rookie year? Expect a heavy workload. The Raiders didn't use a first-round pick on a running back just to ease him in slowly. They've built their offense around him, and now it's time to let him carry the load. Here's a projection for Jeanty's rookie season. 293 carries, 1,146 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 12 rushing touchdowns. Yes, that's a lot for a first-year player, but elite talents like Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott came into the league and handled huge workloads right away. And Jeanty is cut from that same cloth. As long as he stays healthy and is on that rookie contract, the Raiders are going to feed him the ball early and often. The final, and possibly most important, reason the Raiders drafted Jeanty? They did their homework. Throughout the offseason, the Raiders made it clear they were only bringing in players they knew and trusted. That philosophy extended into the draft. No team did more research on Ashton Jeanty than Las Vegas. He had a top 30 visit with the team. He met with them at the NFL Combine. The Raiders sent scouts to Boise State's Pro Day, and not just any scouts. General manager John Spytek and running backs coach Dan McCullough were the only GM-coach duo at that event. McCullough, the former Notre Dame running backs coach, clearly saw something special in Jeanty. Even after the Pro Day, they didn't stop. Spytek and McCullough were the only GM and RB coach pairing who met privately for dinner with Jeanty and the Boise State head coach. That kind of attention speaks volumes. The Raiders didn't just draft talent, they drafted a player they knew, a player they believed in. And if their scouting was right, Ashton Jeanty could be the cornerstone of the Las Vegas backfield for years to come. There was a lot of buzz leading up to the draft. Names like Kelvin Banks and Armandus Coates were constantly being floated around. But in hindsight, that might have all been a smokescreen. Raiders GM John Spytek has been playing chess while others were playing checkers. Behind the scenes, he seemed laser-focused on one goal: landing Ashton Jeanty. And when Jeanty was still on the board, the Raiders didn't hesitate. Sure, taking a running back in the first round always comes with risk. That's just the nature of the position. But this front office has been calculated and precise with every move. You don't build through the trenches, value toughness, and then suddenly forget that on draft night unless you believe you found something truly special. Spytek is no stranger to risk management. He knew exactly what passing on an offensive lineman would mean. And the fact that he still chose Jeanty tells you everything about how confident the Raiders are in their new number 2. Another reason the Raiders made this pick? They want to play physical, punishing, in-your-face football, the kind that wins games in December, January, and even February. The NFL is a copycat league, and if you look around, you'll see a blueprint that's working. The Philadelphia Eagles and Detroit Lions. Both have built their identities on toughness, control, and dominance in the trenches. The Raiders are following that formula. This isn't finesse football. This is FU football. And Ashton Jeanty fits that identity perfectly. He's not just explosive. He's tough. He sets the tone. He makes defenders think twice about tackling him. Sure, there will be growing pains. With so many new faces on the roster, expect a bit of a learning curve in September and October. But once this team settles in, come November and December, no one's going to want to play the Raiders. For years, Raiders fans have been chasing the idea. We need a quarterback who can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. But let's be real, there's only one Mahomes. So what's the alternative? Keep him on the sideline. That's what teams like the Eagles have done to slow him down. And that's what the Raiders are building toward. A team that can dominate time of possession, control the pace of the game, and dictate the terms of every matchup. Ashton Jeanty is the kind of back who helps make that happen. With him in the backfield, the Raiders can grind out drives, wear down defenses, and keep elite quarterbacks watching from the bench. The Raiders aren't just building for now. They're building a team that can go toe-to-toe with the best by playing a different kind of game. If you want to beat Patrick Mahomes, you have to take a page from the few teams that have actually done it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did it in Super Bowl 55. Their GM, a man named John Spytek, now running the show in Las Vegas. That Tampa team didn't try to outgun Mahomes. They won in the trenches. They pinned their ears back on defense, moved the ball north and south on offense, and kept Mahomes running for his life. The Raiders saw what worked and rebuilt their own lines. From free agency through the draft, they built depth up front to protect Geno Smith the same way Tom Brady was protected at age 44. Even the Philadelphia Eagles, in their Super Bowl clash with the Chiefs, showed that you don't need to stop Mahomes. You need to slow him down. Keep your offense on the field. Keep him on the bench. That's how you beat Kansas City. So what did Philly do? They built the deepest defensive line in football. And then they went out and added Saquon Barkley, a physical, explosive runner who fit right into that blue-collar style. The Raiders believe they found their own version of Saquon, a game-changer named Ashton Jeanty. Like Detroit with Jahmyr Gibbs, the Raiders want a back who brings more than yards. They want attitude, swagger, pain in every carry. Jeanty is that kind of player. They didn't just draft him to run. They drafted him to set the tone, to punish defenses, to carry this team into the fourth quarter when the air gets colder and the games get harder. Because this team isn't building for headlines. They're building for December, for January, for Mahomes. That's the brand of football the Raiders want. FU football. It's working in Philadelphia. It's working in Detroit. And now, it's coming to Las Vegas. Max Crosby is one. Brock Bowers, another. JPJ, two. And now, Ashton Jeanty joins them. Because what Tom Brady, John Spytek, and Pete Carroll are building in Las Vegas isn't just a team. It's a system, one that can win in 2 to 3 years. One built on accountability, work ethic, and identity. Spytek helped build that in Tampa Bay. Brady defined it in New England. Carroll lived it in Seattle. And now, it's coming to the desert. This isn't just about athletic ability. It's about buy-in, about turning the locker room into a brotherhood. And when your best players, Crosby, Bowers, JPJ, are grinding day in and day out, the rest follow. Jeanty fits right in. He's not just a playmaker, he's a cornerstone. Why Jeanty? Let's recap. He was the best player on the board. He fills a critical need for an offense desperate to run the football. The Raiders did their homework, with visits, meetings, private dinners, and hours of tape. They believe in his fit, his fire, his football IQ. They passed on the trenches because they believe that much in Jeanty. And most of all, he's part of a movement, FU football, the kind that's worked in Philly, that's thriving in Detroit, the kind that beats Mahomes, even if you don't have a Mahomes of your own. Ashton Jeanty isn't just a running back. He's a message, a mentality, a mission, and for the Raiders, that's exactly what this pick was all about.